It's the Redbird Reboot Podcast. Are you ready to get rebooted, Cardinals fans? He settles down, at least in the zone, and does not stop running.
Blake Murphy.
This is the identity for the Arizona Cardinals.
The run defense is just horrendous, and it's been horrendous for the Cardinals for a long time.
And Marcos Labrada.
He's going to bring over his philosophy. It should make it better.
Present the hottest NFL podcast from the country's hottest state.
He should be turning around the logo.
Actually, some breaking news we can cover here. This popped up just about, 6 minutes ago.
It's Redbird Reboot.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Obviously, this is going to be a solo podcast and whatnot. I'm going to try to venture out and do a little bit more of these film reviews, mostly because of the fact that we have to get started on watching the All 22, being able to decipher things on our own, being able to read what's going on and whatnot. Because as we all know, we have a lot of takes out there, and we have a lot of people that can give their opinion on what's going on and whatnot. But I've been a proponent for hey, you can make up your own mind. You could watch the film never lies. And then, through this is where you get the full truth. So obviously, as you can see, I already have the defense up and it's queued up. We're going to go over what Budda Baker's extension means for the Cardinals. I'll give you my take, but I'm also going to show the type of film where then this is blind, by the way. Have not seen the film yet. Was supposed to study it, slacked off, had a couple things happen. Hey, life is life. We all live through it. So this is my first time looking at it. Have not seen it yet. Have not seen any clips of the All 22. But I can confidently tell you that there is a lot of impact that you will be able to see from Budda Baker on a down-by-down basis. And then we're going to go over what happened with Marv, because Marv's been getting a lot of flack, especially throughout the entire season. And I've said this, if you guys have been avid listeners of this podcast, I've been saying this from the very get-go, from the start to the very end. He's not going to be the most productive wide receiver this year. Out of all the people that were going to be drafted, because of scenario and circumstance, he was not going to be the most productive wide receiver. Many factors about that. Number one, a lot of these offenses that drafted wide receivers this year have with the exception of Roma Dunze, have offenses that pretty much they're drafting these people, these wide receivers, because they have no other option. So they're doing it out of hey, we need to do it because we don't have any weapons. I mean, think about the people that were taken. I love Walter Mitchell and him, going, for I keep forgetting what the tight end's name is. Obviously the one that was playing for Georgia. It'll come up later. I always do that. And Brock Bowers. So Brock Bowers, I love him. He was a great prospect and whatnot, but I didn't think he was somebody that we needed to draft, especially because of the fact that we have not only an offense that's tuned for a dominant tight end out there, but also a number one receiver, because of the fact that you're going to have a lot of run, play action type of passing. You only have one or two people that you can effectively hit on that type of route. It's designed to get at least one person open or make the read as easy as possible to Kyler Murray and whatnot. So when he rolls out and stuff, he's going to see down the field, he's going to make his reads right off the bat. So that's one of the things as to why having a two tight end system, while it can work, especially with the Patriots and whatnot, I'm not so savvy in it happening under this type of offense because of the type of quarterback that we have. We have Kyler Murray, he's going to favor one receiver over another. And I don't think Brock Bowers will be putting up the numbers that he is if he's on this type of offense. It would be kind of a waste because of the fact that you need somewhat of a good blocking tight end, which is why Tip Ryman was a pick at the third round. So that was a utility type of pick, especially with somebody that's as good as Tip Ryman is at being able to block and whatnot. But the same thing goes for when it comes to our actual weapons and stuff. We didn't need a big, tall, get up and get it type of receiver. And of course, we got him at the number 4 overall pick. There's forgot the wide receiver went to the Giants. Of course, guys, sorry about that. It happens to me. Wide receiver went to the Giants. I knew right away that's going to be their main target. He's going to be force-fed. He's going to put up the numbers. Brian Thomas Jr., I didn't expect what was happening with him, but it did. He ended up taking off. He ended up becoming the top receiver in this draft. So it is what it is, you know. Like he's putting up good numbers. Got to give it to Brian Thomas Jr. But I still think in that situation there wasn't that the weapons aside from like Christian Kirk not being like the number one that I thought to myself he was gonna be. He has been having himself a really good year, so I have to give it to Brian Thomas Jr. Didn't think he was gonna be the most productive and the best one out of all of them. So hats off to him. But as I mentioned, in every other scenario and every other offense, you drafted these guys because of desperation. We drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. with weapons on this offense already being in place. So he's serving the role, but I knew it was going to be hard for him to be able to like generate any type of offense because of the fact that, like, once again, we have a quarterback that is favoring his tight end because that's a safety blanket. You can't blame him. He's targeting him between the 20s, but when we get to the end zone, as you can see, he's targeting Marvin Harrison Jr. He's getting all the touchdowns down in the end zone. So whatever it may be, it is what it is with this offense, and I'm not going to blame him too much. I'm not going to blame Marvin Harrison Jr. too much on his effectiveness because I think the fact that people are trying to make this into like a, hey, he needs to be a 1,500 yard, 1,400 yard catch monster right out the gates because we've seen it happen with Justin Jefferson and we've seen it happen with Jamar Chase. Those two are the outliers. You're not even going to see that very often. Those two are the outliers. As I mentioned before, productivity doesn't always measure success, especially when you're talking about a rookie. So to me, I like the track that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going on, and for any type of expectations of saying like what's going on with this, the obsession over that is just on Drew Petzing. I can promise you that. The obsession is just that, hey, you got that weapon. He should be producing at a high stakes, and that's an indictment on Drew Petzing. Drew Petzing designs the concepts like he does because he wants his deep threat being his best, biggest receiver that still has 4.4 speed. In other words, basically he's trying to get another version of George Pickens in our offense. And you've seen how George Pickens can be a deep threat as a tall receiver, but gets no separation. And that's something we're also going to go over when it comes to Marvin Harrison Jr. and his separation. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started on this defense. I'm going to go ahead and just play out. This is the first snap of the game. So first things first, when you are doing any type of film review, this being the first snap of the game, you want to identify where your player is. So you got Budda Baker lined up right here. Of course, you have your 5 front. You have your 2 edge defenders lined up, wide outside. We call that the wide 9 technique or the 9 tech in other words, in essence, because of the fact that their job is to just shoot up the field, box the run, and obviously try to get off. And we saw some really good get off from Brandon Browning on 3 consecutive like snaps. That left tackle was just garbage. Oh my God, he was just getting brutalized. And you got to feel for Drake May on that one because it was so fast. The guy could not even keep up. And you have your 3 down front. We're going to look at the end zone angle in a second, but that is called a bear front. So you have your nose tackle. There's a head up 0 tech. And actually, as you can see right here, he's not a stand-up 0 tech. He's a 1 tech. But you have your 3 guys up in the front, your 5-man front. You have your 3 interior defensive linemen. You have your 2 linebackers in the second level. This guy's lined up. I believe that's Mac Wilson. He's lined up at it looks like he's at a 10 tech. Well, when you're talking about like linebackers in the second level, you add a 0. So basically that's how you know. So if he's like a 50 tech, that means he's a 5 technique just on the second level. You have Budda Baker essentially being like, lined up in the second level of the defense, kind of like another defensive, like another linebacker, and they've used them in this way. So we could think of this as a coverage tell for who he's gonna go ahead and cover. So you have Budda Baker lined up across from Hunter Henry, I believe, or that's a tight end. So you have 2 attached tight ends to this side. I would believe that if this was some sort of coverage call for both of them, you have your 1 high, of course. You have both of your cornerbacks up on the line of scrimmage. They're facing their wide receivers. This reeks of man coverage. We don't know if that's going to be the call because they like to disguise their stuff. And I love the fact that that's what Nick Ross was doing. Vance Joseph, learn your lesson. Anyways, So we're gonna obviously play the snap out. You get your movement. He's doing a short motion, number one, on Thomas. They're releasing. So you see essentially Buddha Baker's carrying number one deep. So I'm not gonna stress that too much when it comes to like him being behind the coverage. I'm not gonna blame him too much on his coverage because of the fact that he stuffs the run so well, and you'll see some amazing stats in a second from PFF. But he's carrying them. Kaiser White, Kaiser White kind of sometimes I don't think he belongs at Mike linebacker, because sometimes I see him do some things that are just mind-boggling that I ask myself, like, did you just get confused there and you didn't know who your assignment was? As you can see, he carries number 81, and then he comes down to attack the flat defender, which is the tight end. That was probably his guy from the very get-go. And he got confused with Budda Baker being on the outside. Okay, now let's see where number 81 is real quick. And we'll know damn sure what's going on. Okay, so this looks like it's a situation where Budda Baker's carrying the deepest out of the two. So maybe this is like a fiddle call or like a fiddle technique, or not fiddle technique. I'm sorry. Anyways, what's going on here is that there could be a possibility where Budda Baker is taking the deep route and Kaiser White's taking the flat. Why is Kaiser White taking the flat? He's a linebacker. He doesn't have the athleticism or the speed that Budda Baker does. So if you're going to go deep and you want somebody to carry that route, you don't want a slow linebacker carrying the deep route because he's going to be behind. Of course, Budda Baker's behind anyway, but I trust Budda Baker in coverage more than I do Kaiser White. So Kaiser White, either he thought he was walling off because he may have thought this was like a just a typical zone coverage call, but this technique, like he's getting himself in the way of trying to attack the flat by doing this. So you see 85 block and he's going to shed and he's going to attack the flat. That's what you normally see. So maybe something that's going on in his head where he kind of gets confused. He said, oh, this guy's releasing to the top. That was my guy. Wait, don't. That's Budda Baker's lined up on the outside of me. Now Budda Baker's going to take him deep and my guy's actually attacking the flat. Now, one thing that I can say is that if Kaiser White was on this, it could look confusing because he was blocking at first, but he should have the free reins to be able to not look to see if that guy's continuing to block for him to blitz the quarterback. If your guy's staying into block, you have free reins to either roam around or whatnot, but he releases, and unfortunately, because he releases, he's not at the flat in time. So you'll see him coming down. He kind of like makes a little bit of a move. Look at that. That's an easy first down. Oh my God, Kaiser. I haven't talked about him enough on this podcast, fairly enough. You guys don't know how I feel about Kaiser White. He is a Will. He played Will when he played with the Eagles. He was not meant to be a Mike. He came over as a Mike because, Jonathan Gannon wants somebody to carry over his defense. But I'll just play it out on the end zone angle. And of course, I already explained to you, this is a bear front. Doesn't match up as a bear front because you have the guy who's a nose tackle, one ticket, whatever. We're going to play it out. Sorry, guys. But that's just bad. That's not good linebacker tell or not good linebacker technique. Carry the tight end. Immediately see that there's somebody releasing to the flat, missing on the tackle, and then giving up the first down. I'm sorry. That's just not good technique. All right, let's see. Second play. We're barely in the second play. I'm already ranting about this. This is what I get every single time I see the all 22. I'll get a little bit of a rant. All right, you got a run play, of course. All right, let's see. Every time I see a run play queue up, I like to just go to the end zone angle. All right, and there's their base front. That's what you would see as a bear front right there. You have the nose tackle hit up on the center. You have your two defensive tackles on the inside shoulders of the tackles and stuff. But in this scenario, you usually see them a little bit more outside, like they're lined up on the shoulder. They're lined up on gaps, maybe because they want to have more penetration on that. And of course, look at good old Mac Wilson on the outside. I believe this is like what, like a 5-yard gain or whatnot. So they block away. So they down block opposite side. That leads me to believe that this was supposed to be a stretch run to the outside, and the running back just smartly cuts back and whatnot. Kaiser White and Zaven Collins making the tackle right there. So I believe, like I said, this is a 5-yard gain. Not too much to go over here. And then I'll skip. I'm not just gonna do the first drive. I'll skip through it. All right, what do we have here? We might have another man coverage. You can tell by the corners on the outside facing their wide receivers. You have your one deep safety. You have another. I think this is Garrett Williams lined up across from a tight end. And if that's what's going on over here, it could just be like a zone coverage situation. But sometimes you will see someone like a slot cornerback get up on a tight end. It'll be man coverage. So that's not always a good way to be able to tell man coverage in zone. So yeah, that's a bad lone call right there. And don't get me wrong, I know I'm trashing the defense right now, but they're exceeding my expectations at the very least. So he's releasing out to the flat. They're in the pistol. So what happened here was, and this was easy for Drake May. This is what drives me nuts about like our defense. Sometimes you shouldn't make it this easy. This is zone. Looks like maybe it's cover 3. Even though you have SMB at the bottom, man turning instead of zone turning to the outside. You have Star Thomas man turning, which is just like him turning towards the quarterback instead of turning towards the boundary or to the sideline. And then he's trying to stay on top of his wide receiver, so he's like defending top down and whatnot. That's what I'm at least getting from this. You have Garrett keeping on number 81 out there. And then once again, what's going on over here? This was strictly a blown coverage call. I would say that the blown coverage has to be between Kaiser White and Jalen Thompson. They were either both confused about who they were supposed to take on this responsibility, which is why this happened. You have your motion right there. So they're motioning out. So guys, if you guys can find this podcast on YouTube, like next time we do this, I would love for you guys to join me on the YouTube side, so that way we can have some interactions. You guys can put it comments down there. I'll go ahead and check them out and read them as I go, if I'm able to and whatnot. But like I would love to like just ask you guys right here, what happened here? So as you can see, he moves from one side to the other, causing a trips to the boundary. So who's on the boundary? That's Kaiser White. He takes his guy, bear hugs him. And then you see the running back motion to the right side. That's something that shouldn't be allowed. And that was a situation that happened with miscommunication between both Kaiser White and Jalen Thompson. That should have been automatic, that somebody had to go get him. Whether it was Jalen or Zaven Collins or Kaiser White. When you see somebody motion and then you see somebody release to the right side, there should have been a push call. So in modern defenses, you'll have calls between hook defenders. Hook defenders are just linebackers. They're the innermost defenders, by the way. One of them will make a push call. They'll say push, push. That just means take whoever's on the flat because I can't get to him, and I'll take your responsibility. So what happened here is nobody was paying attention to the running back releasing to the flat. You see Jalen Thompson here, like just looking at him. He should have been shouting push, push to Kaiser so that he can take his responsibility, which, by the way, like, way to bear hug him on that one. And then Kaiser White goes and takes the running back in the flat, but nobody did. Nobody made the push call. Look at this. There's two defenders on one guy in the middle of the field. What's going on here? Meanwhile, you let the running back just wide open in the flat. You got to get kudos on. Yeah, I'm already ranting. I'm not even talking about Budda Baker, and that was the whole point of me doing this whole spiel was, to showcase how special Budda Baker is. So I promise, guys, I will find a Budda Baker play right now. So I'm enough ranting. about this first drive of the defense. They did allow 3 points for the majority of the game until they started giving garbage time. So I'll give them the kudos for that. But there's some stuff that really questions me of what's going on in the middle. And there's some miscommunication. Miscommunication by itself can lead to like plays just being given up and whatnot. So you got Budda Baker driving on this tight end. So he's lined up right over here. He's an apex defender on the boundary side. Apex just means the innermost defender from a cornerback. Looks to me like he is on number 85. Number 85 just does a quick stick route. But you have number 81 running a little bit of a shallow route. So he was on his defender. And once again, this was a situation where I'm not sure if there was just miscommunication on who's getting who. It looks to me like there was a blitzing linebacker, and Drake May just delivered it to the guy that was, the side where it was blitzing. So it looks like Mac Wilson was blitzing. Once again, Kaiser White is just dropping a little bit deeper, not so much spot dropping, but dropping a little bit deeper than his tight end. His defender's probably just running across the field, and he's not driving on it because he's not trying to give up anything deeper than that. I'm not going to fault him too much, but as you can see, Budda Baker just backpedals, sticks that foot in the ground, and drives. And that wasn't even his guy. It's just he sometimes covers for other players' mistakes on our defense. And he's been the safety blanket for this team for a very long time. There's not enough that could be said about like Budda Baker. Budda Baker's special. Oh, that was good being able to spill the run to the outside. That's just a straight up just cover up all the gaps on the inside, spill it to the outside. That's my preferable way of being able to defend the run. Oh boy, number 55 put a swim move on that. Let's go look at that again. Let's go to look at Dante Stills putting the moves on this tight end and doing the old JJ Watt. Look at that. That's beautiful. And that's exactly what this is why I like watching the film, because you'll get stuff like this that's gold that you will not have seen in the broadcast viewer, may have it passed up, but that's initially what caused this run to be able to spill to the outside. This quick move that he puts on this tackle to be able to like present himself with the penetration backfield. That every single time you see something like this, you see the person who's the guard or the tight end on the outside immediately panic and down block. But when you do that, you take that blocking assignment away from whoever that person initially was going to do. That tight end down blocking on Dante Stills, because Dante still got penetration. Now you got the edge defender to the furthest outside, pretty much going unblocked, spilling the run to the outside. That's Okora, number 58, and everybody's in pursuit now because that running back had all his gaps plugged up on the inside. Great way to spill it to the outside. That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. Right, a little bit of orbit motion here. Hand the ball off. Hits the big gap. Oh my God, that's yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy, who was that? Who was that? He is, oh boy. Oh my God, DTD. I'm a big DTD fan. Oh my goodness, that was a miss. That was a miss. That was a miss. I'm sorry. Let me repeat it again. He does the right thing and drives on it. You have Budda Baker on the opposite side of the field. There's nothing much he could do in that situation. But he's just straight up just a miss. Gibson had himself a good day. So you got to give kudos to Gibson on this outside stretch run or not outside stretch run. He hits the B gap, attacking, David Collins shoots up the field. Gives up that gap is wide open, and he just unfortunately makes our guy miss. But he is a rookie. He is a rookie, and I have high hopes for him because he's kind of like a Budda Baker type. Back to pass over the middle, shallow. Jalen Thompson just pretty much just makes a tackle. Nothing special there. It's just they're running it too high. Looks like too high man coverage. Everybody's looking at their wide receiver. That is his that is his guy. So he gets a little bit of a short like a short completion. That's not. And then of course you got Kaiser White threatening to blitz over the middle, hits his guy to that side. That's something that I kind of like that they do. So as you can see on this side, you see Kaiser White lined up on the center. I like this. I like this because he's threatening to blitz. His guy is actually the running back. He blitzes. He steps forward and blitzes for a second, and then goes back into coverage. Now, I wish it was somebody that was more athletic, but we have what we have. Once he's doing that, he's trying to take away any type of work that center can have. So you do that on purpose because you want to give your outside people one-on-ones, which if you can see, you have 4 defensive linemen on the outside. You want to give them all one-on-ones to see if they'll win their matchup. Hey, there is Robinson. Hey, look at this. Now, this is something I like about Darius. 4 paws on the ground. He's coming from the bottom up. That's exactly what I wanted them to do. Don't draft him to make a stand-up linebacker. We've done that so many times. He is a hand on the ground, coming up from the bottom. So that's great. I'd love to see that. Let's just pass this play. We've seen this already a few times. Now, I know people are dogging. Oh, look at that. He did it again. Look at that. You have the pursuit of Budda Baker right there. So Budda Baker is lined up at the second deep half safety. Look how far he runs just to make this tackle. Like once he identifies this, it's a pick play or it's a screen. He's looking at Drake May turn to one direction. He's coming down, just comes down and makes a tackle. He does that constantly when it comes to a safety that does it from the third level. There's a reason why he leads the league in tackles for safety, or he's number 2, I believe. There's a reason why he's just such a great tackler. That's just what he does. He makes a tackle from the third level. So good on, like I mentioned so many times before, he does a lot of dirty work for us. I'm so proud of like what Budda Baker has done career-wise because he deserves this extension. I don't think anybody can argue with that. Great play by number 58. You got Darius Robinson as well in the backfield. Let's go ahead and watch the end zone angle on this one, just to see what's going on here. So he's lined up in the B gap. Maybe he just shoots up. Oh, they bump over. They bump over because of the amount of blockers on to the field side. So he just bumps over, takes his guy, sheds, and that's it. It's just simple. Number 58 is really the one that gets credited with that play, but you like to see Darius Robinson be to the outside. I just wish he shed a little bit quicker on that because he doesn't need to be engaged with his tackle for as long. See what I mean? He's turned towards the backfield and he still has hands on him. At that point, you need a shed. You need a shed and make the play. Oh, look at that. When you see the signal, boom. That means that's changing the play on the fly. They're all communicating. They saw something, then they're changing it. These guys are going empty, so maybe they're changing it from a man coverage to a zone coverage. We'll see it. We'll see in a minute. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 people at the line of scrimmage, overflow. So maybe they're planning on dropping people into coverage. Yeah, that's exactly what they did. That's a good play. Hey, he got him sacked, and he's over there in the backfield celebrating. Good for you, Baron Browning. Look at that get off. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan about like the Baron Browning signing, but I've heard great things from the Denver Broncos fan base and whatnot. I mean, they said this is the type of stuff he was capable of doing. He's just too quick for the tackle. Takes off, can't even can't get in depth. Loses that battle, and there's Baron Browning celebrating. Good for him. Not sure what the celebration is, but that's what it is. But yeah, so he looks over to both sides. He's signaling to make sure people can see that. When they all reciprocate and they do the same thing, which is like signaling, they're all on the same page. I love seeing that on defense because that means they saw something. That means they see something that they can either exploit or just change up the play. Maybe originally this was supposed to be cover 0. Maybe they were all supposed to blitz. And then they saw some sort of crease. They saw that there's a possibility that they might change up a play or go deep or whatnot, whatever the case may be. They changed it on the fly, and they wanted to confuse the quarterback, and that's exactly what they did. They got their one-on-one to the outside. That guy won his battle, and then that causes a sack. Doing that also, when it comes to like confusing the quarterback, means he holds on to the ball longer. It's just what it is. All right, we're gonna watch this last play, and then I really do have to get on to see what's going on with Budda Baker. Look at that spin move. Oh yeah, that's the forced fumble. Garrett Williams did a good job punching that one out. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just saw Budda Baker get pancaked. He is a smaller stature safety. There's not much you can do about that when it comes to size. You will see it from time to time. You'll see Budda Baker just get blocked into oblivion or pancaked. It's just what it is. But for pound, like what he does, it's just there's no other safety out there. There really is no other safety that can do what he does. Now he's the deep safety. Coming down, they kind of shift. Look at that. He reads the play and makes the tackle. That's just basic. So on a down-by-down basis, this isn't going to be a highlight for him, but he just makes the tackle on this because he reads where the ball is going to go. I'm trying to figure out right now if he was in man coverage on this, and it doesn't seem like it. You have your two outside cornerbacks. That looks like it's more of a Garrett Williams assignment with this attached tight end. Oh, I see. So they bump over now. Number 3 belongs to Garrett Williams. So they kind of shift. They kind of push off. They like bump coverages and falls him through. Just like that doesn't work. Doesn't work when Budda Baker is that quick to be able to respond, coming to make the tackle. Once again, good tackle, busting the screen. I mean, we are talking about the Patriots, so it's not like we can give them too much credit when it comes to offense and stuff. We obviously had the upper hand when it comes to like assignments, not assignments, talent and whatnot, but nobody thought this defense would be this good. That's just a bobble. Nothing special about that. Hey, good to see number 16 out there, Max Melton. Oh, he tries to dodge that one. Yeah, he didn't make the play on that one. He tried to dodge him, so he's like spinning out, trying to put a move on the tight end. I mean, at least you can give him credit for containing that run. But still, you try to put a move on that tight end. That's not going to do the job, Budda. Come on now. You're making me look stupid out there. Oh, you're making me look stupid over here. So now he's the deepest. He's the deep safety. No, not the deep safety. Looks like he's a half safety. I mean, he makes a tackle again because he reads it. These type of runs are not supposed to get past the first line of defense. So he's making the tackle because he is the safety, stopping it from going to like 50 yards or maybe even being a touchdown and whatnot. So he's doing his job. He's one of the best when it comes to storming the alley. I will say that because of the fact that he reads it so well. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up some stats on Budda Baker, because one of the things that I love about Budda is his ability to be able to play the run. Looks like I'm not even signed in. Like I said, sorry guys. Like I said, doing this on the fly. Get out of here. Stupid thing. What the hell? Get out of here. This is nothing new to people that own PFF, but one of the things that I love to look at is to look at like what the the PFF grades when it comes to like overall and whatnot. As you can see, his pass rush grade isn't that high. I'm not gonna give too much issues or talk about like how that's a bad thing when it comes to like Budda. Oh, sorry, you guys can't even see any of this. I've been talking to myself this entire time, and you guys are over here like, what's going on? What the heck is going on? What is this guy talking about? There we go. Anyways, going back to this. So when it comes to like his grade, when it comes to his pass rush grade, he's a smaller guy. What do you expect? Now, there's times where you're going to have a smaller player have the ability to have a good pass rush grade because he's able to knife between the defenders. That's not a big deal to me when it comes to like Budda Baker because of the fact that he is known to be a good blitzer, but in this stage of his career, the most impressive thing that I see in his grade is his run grade being at 81.9. That ranks 13th, what it says right here of 160. That's very, very like impressive still. His coverage grade is 71.7. I don't know if I would give too much credence to that because I have seen him struggle sometimes when it comes to coverage. But obviously the graders think that he's way above average when it comes to like his coverage grade, and you have a 76 overall. That's fine and dandy. You have him having 107 solo tackles altogether. I believe he has 140 tackles on the season. We have 3 games left, so we have no idea what his final number is going to be. It will look like it's trending to be more than 150. That's very impressive. You have 2 sacks, the 50 stops. That right there is impressive. That tells you that as a safety, he is better as a safety than most of our linebackers have ever been at being able to stop the run. He is a better linebacker than the linebackers that we've had employed because of his ability to be able to stop the run, his ability to be able to come from like the 3rd level of the defense and then being lined up in the 2nd level of the defense and making that stopping these running backs from being able to like gain a first down and whatnot. He does it more often than not. So he is number 1. He's number 1 in that category. That alone. I mean, that alone in itself like shows you that he is a person that is very well like sought after, but valuable to the Cardinals, even at the age that he's at. Doesn't have an interception. Doesn't seem to matter. He's going to go to the Pro Bowl. Might even be I'm guessing he's going to be a 2nd team All-Pro. He should be a 1st team All-Pro, but we already know like when it comes to being a Cardinal, you're just not. Yes, it's not that impressive. Like teams, the national media, this isn't just, they're not impressed with you, and it's been that way for the Cardinals for such a long time where we can't get any love out there. You have 107 solo tackles. He's number 1 in that category. He has 34 assists. That's number 1 in that category as well. First in stops. Doesn't surprise me. He has 3 PBUs. Receptions allowed. He's 9th in that category, but he's been having to pick up the slack for things that haven't been like his fault and whatnot. As you saw that first snap by him and Kaiser White, he kind of lost that route, but that wasn't mostly his fault. It just seemed like there was some miscommunication, and I mostly blame Kaiser White for that miscommunication. He is the linebacker. He's the Mike. He should know better. Total pressures, 10. That's very, very impressive. 5th in that category. And it's just all around, like he's just he gives a vibe from like just these stats and whatnot in his grade that he's more of the like a picture this, like somewhat of like a star. You not saying like a star like he's great. He's a star is just a position in football that means like you're playing closer to the line of scrimmage as a safety / linebacker. So basically the hybrid, the hybrid position that we all hate and whatnot. He's excelling at doing that and stuff. So that's what it tells to me, that he just excels in being closer to the line of scrimmage, and even from the 3rd level coming down and making those type of plays and whatnot that we've been needing to play. He's picked up a lot of the slack. He like I said, if we don't have this player on our defense, like out on the field, or even like next year, if we lose them to like free agency, it's a big. I don't believe this defense plays anywhere near as good as it does. Although you could say like, hey, DTD is somebody that you can, back yourself. Like you can go ahead and replace them with DTD. Yeah, you most likely can. But I mean, would I do that? No, I wouldn't. So regardless of what the situation is, I think Jalen Thompson is more of the person that you might want to target to, like, let leave in free agency, or even like try to get something from him, and have DTD get more snaps out there. And so that's what my take would be, and what to do with this defense. Now let's talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. So like I've mentioned at my opening statement, Marvin Harrison Jr. has been getting a lot of slack. And there's a lot of people that would say that he's underperforming for his draft status. And draft status, being what it is and whatnot, that if you go higher in the draft, there's just more expected from you. So it was the case for like Isaiah Simmons being number 8 overall. It's like there was more expectations for you, and to not meet those expectations, that's something that's like a detrimental thing about you. Whereas if you took him in the 5th round, like let's say you took Isaiah Simmons in the 5th round, you take him in the 5th round, that's just, people's expectations aren't that good. I say that because we drafted a linebacker a year ago, Holland Papo, in the 5th round, and nobody's throwing their hands up of him not being able to, like, basically him not being able to perform. So we have the grades here. I want to go more about his snaps. So we're going to go into the snap count, because of course there's a lot said about like where he lines up. He lines up a hefty amount, just he moves all over the field. And the thing about him is that this isn't a situation where he's only getting lined up on the outside of the X. They are moving him around. They're moving him around this defense and this offense and whatnot. So when we look at his grades, we see his overall is at 77.3. That's really good. Receiving grade 76.7. He has 90 targets, 47 receptions. That's not very impressive. That's like almost getting to like a halfway point. Like half of the targets being thrown to you are like that. But that's not always going to be the wide receiver's fault. As you know, ball placement is a lot. It means a lot in the NFL. It's where Kyler Murray's targeting and what he's doing when he's trying to target his guy. Is he throwing it to the back shoulder? Is he trying to get his guy to come back to the ball? Is he throwing it to where only his guy can get it? That also is a factor. But his body and his frame are supposed to be able to give him that ability to basically come down with more of those balls. He has 7 touchdowns. That's awesome. That's great. 7 receiving. He has 1 credited drop. Now, he's dropped quite a few balls. On the film, we see that. The reason why they only give him 1 credit is because there's 1 certifiable one that he dropped, and that's against the Buffalo Bills. The first pass that he ever got from Kyler Murray, drops it outright. PFF grades it as like, if there was no interference in that play where he's receiving that ball and he drops it, if there's a defender that makes a play on it, they don't credit it with the drop, because it could be seen as like the defender made a PBU on it, or that he forced that incompletion. It's fair to be able to put that on there. Now, he gets no separation. As a matter of fact, I remember looking at this list through my phone, not really seeing it through my computer and whatnot. I remember seeing this through I forgot what tool it was, but it's a tool to be able to go deeper into it. He gets no separation. As a matter of fact, I believe I know what I was looking at. It was next gen stats. Next gen stats. Hopefully nothing pops up that you guys will see here that'll get me banned. I'm just kidding. Or am I? Look at that. You got James Conner up in the front. Let's go to the stats. Go to receiving. Okay. So you got all your numbers right here. So you have your, cushion. Obviously, we all know what cushion is. It just means how far away cornerbacks is giving wide receiver. The speedsters are always going to be the ones that get the most cushion, as we know, because you're not trying to give it too much space. 4.6 cushion, yards of cushion. That ranks 3rd. you have only two players that are getting more cushion now. Let's go see if we can find one of our guys. I believe I saw Greg Dortch. Let's just turn this around. I believe I saw Greg Dortch get like the most cushion, or not the most. He got the third most cushion. He's got 7.5. It could be where he lines up on the line of scrimmage, why they give him so much cushion. But I've said this before on the podcast. Greg Dortch does have a good ability to separate. He is a good separator in our offense and whatnot. So the fact that he's getting so much cushion, it could be just defenders are scared of getting close to the wide of scrimmage because he just has a quick. He's so quick off the line of scrimmage that he can often beat his defender just at like in the first half second of the snap and whatnot. So that doesn't surprise me that I see Greg Dortch up there, when it comes to cushion. And of course, you see him you see Troy Franklin, Jaden Reed, Zay Flowers, Chris Olave. Oh, Chris Olave, look at that guy that I really wanted, but I'm not going to complain that we have Marvin Harrison Jr. But like I said, Marvin Harrison Jr. is third worst when it comes to cushion. Separation, boom, he's the last one. 1.9 yards of separation. Now, the way to describe this, and I'm sorry if I'm describing this to people who are veterans that know this. I'm just doing this for people that don't use these tools or don't understand. 1.9 yards of separation means from the time he gets the ball thrown at him, how separated he is from his wide receiver. From his cornerback. So he has 1.9. The next one being Kayshon Boutte at 2.2. AJ Brown at 2.2. Now, that's where I was going to mention next. It's like, when it comes to separation, it doesn't always mean you're a bad wide receiver if the ball's being thrown at you and you get no separation. The fact of the matter is, it's what happens when you're catching those balls, when you have that short ability, that short separation. And what type of wide receiver are you? Now, you have George Pickens at 2.3. I mentioned earlier that I see Marvin Harrison Jr. as a George Pickens type of player. And we know that George Pickens, he comes down with a lot of 50-50 balls. He has like a big body, big build, and he's just a guy who just can catch the ball with one hand, contorted backwards. That's what I saw Marvin Harrison Jr. as. And my criticism of him is that he needs to get more strength. He needs to have a stronger build. He needs to have stronger hands. Now, George Pickens wasn't the biggest guy coming out of the draft. He wasn't like slender, but he wasn't big and built. He wasn't like a DK Metcalf built. But he had mass to him enough to be able to overpower 5'10" cornerbacks, which is what you usually see when it comes to a cornerback. You see them get up in that 5'10" range, and like they're like 190 to 200 pounds. Wide receivers that are 6'4", 6'5", usually weigh around like 210, 220 pounds. So you have a massive advantage right there. So being that he doesn't get any separation, a lot can go into that. Routes. Like, what kind of route is he running? What is he doing? Where's his quarterback throwing the ball? Does he have to come back to the ball? Well, that actually wouldn't make any sense for the separation, because at that point, I think the separation would probably be like they wouldn't matter, because it is at the time that the quarterback is throwing the ball. So I believe that wouldn't matter either way. But what kind of receiver are you? Are you a stronger wide receiver? Are you the overpowering wide receiver? What are you? Those are all questions that go into why the separation is so low. And obviously, when you look at the film, you get to see what's going on. But I believe this just means on throws targeted to him. So throws that aren't targeted to him, if he gets more separation, it might not even affect that. But if it's on throws that he's targeted on, that's the case, then that you have to just watch the film to be able to understand what's going on here. Average targeted air yards. This just means I believe how far down this guy's targeted. So I guess deep threats are just targeted higher, or they have a higher number, and short threats like tight ends or like slot cornerbacks, slot wide receivers would probably have a lower number. So let's just go ahead and take a look at this. You have 4.2 from Jake Ferguson. Now let's go ahead and shift that over you have Alec Pierce 21.3. That makes sense because he has been the deep wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts and whatnot. And let's just keep going down the list. You see Rashad Bateman. You see Marvin Harrison Jr. His number's 13.9. So he's getting targeted a little bit more deeper, and it makes sense because when I watch this film, I see him run more deeper routes than he does anything that's like short. Nothing that's like below the like. A lot of routes that he runs aren't below the sticks and whatnot. You see Marvin. As a matter of fact, let's just keep going down. Let's see if we can find Greg Dortch, or we can find our tight end. Jesus Christ, Trey McBride. You see Trey McBride, 6.4. If I pass Greg Dortch, then I'm sorry. There he is, Greg Dortch, 3.6. So that just means that they're being targeted because they run more shorter routes and whatnot. That's not shocking. That's not surprising whatsoever. So let's go ahead and take a look at NFL Pro. If I can't find it here, then I'll just go ahead and once again. Sorry, guys. I wasn't prepared with all my sign-ins and stuff, but hopefully you guys don't see any of this. Or, oh, look, there goes his password. And this is a tool that I like that I would recommend for people who aren't so big about watching film and whatnot, or like are just barely getting into film. NFL Pro or pro.nfl.com. It's a great tool because you have the search bar. Now I'm going to use this for now because I'm going to siphon everything from like Marvin Harrison Jr. That's why I'm not pulling up the NFL one, the one that, I get that's like the full 2 hours and whatnot simultaneously. This gives me a chance to be able to like show you guys, if you guys are into wanting to like watch some film, guys don't have to like know all the intricacies of like play calls and everything like that, but that way you can see the full picture because wide receiver routes, you don't see them on the broadcast feed. You only see them on the All 22. Go to receiving here. So you have 29 plays, I believe. I'm not sure if he was targeted during those plays, but this shows like the ones that he did target him in. Sorry about that. This was the first play of the game, or actually one of the first offensive plays of the game. This is beautiful right here. This is just mesh. So as you can see, he's lined up at the number 2. So this whole spiel about him only lining up at the X, that's not true. They do move him around. Anybody who's saying that Marvin Harrison Jr. and his utilization is just, he's just the X and whatnot, that's not true. You can see it from right here. He makes his move off the line of scrimmage. Good move. Great release on here. Kind of gives him the shimmy at the line of scrimmage. He doesn't get any press at the line of scrimmage, and then he releases to the inside. Gets a little bit of a, like, look at the separation here. Now he's going to get more separation because Trey McBride's coming to be able to pick that and give more of Gonzalez. And look at the move that Trey McBride makes. Now this is something that you want to teach. You want your wide receivers to be as close as possible so that way you can cause more disruption. Kyler Murray does a good job of being able to target Marvin Harrison Jr. on the run. This is just a good throw, and this is a man beater. This has always been a man beater, like how should I say? I don't know what the term is. This is a man beating concept. Doesn't sound right, but sorry guys. Doing whatever I can here. Once again, you have this zone coverage. You can tell because of course they moved James Conner to be the furthest outside wide receiver. He's the number 1. When you do that, that's a that's something that the quarterback uses to be able to tell if it's a man coverage or zone coverage. And if you know it's a zone coverage, then wide receivers are not going to run their routes all the way through. They're going to kind of adjust their routes so they can attack the zones in the middle. This is a tell for everybody, not just for the quarterback, but just also for the wide receiver. Now he's signaling. Signal is tight end, motions him back to the inside, does a short motion. This is a switch release. You see Marvin Harrison Jr. just kind of not run his route too difficult. Not too difficult, not with a lot of hustle, I guess you can say. Runs up the field and just kind of like, maybe he just knew he wasn't going to get the ball on this down. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like he wasn't expecting the ball anyway, or he knew that he wasn't getting the ball anyway, and it was going to be a short completion, and it was just a short completion to Michael Wilson, who was just running like just a quick stick route. He was already expecting the ball. Kyler Murray's just getting out of his hands. So on that one, I don't know what to make of that. Just didn't seem like he really tried on that one. Once again, we don't know if that's just the case because he wasn't expecting it, but it is what it is. Motions, tight end across the field. Of course, somebody detaches. You have the linebacker who the edge defender detached from that one and then you have the edge defender on the opposite side of the field. So you see, he's coming down. Okay, so they're switching responsibilities there. You see the edge defender on the boundary come down, and then you see the edge defender on the field side just drop into coverage. That is, that's a miss. And this is what I talk about when I talk about Kyler Murray and what he sees or what his vision is. So good completion to Trey McBride. That's his guy. That's not my bad. That's Tip Ryman. So this whole spiel about forcing the ball to a certain player is such bullcrap. I get so angry whenever I hear this from other people who are running podcasts that like concepts are designed to get it to a certain person. That is not true. Do not believe that it goes to a certain person. Yes, you could favorably like call something and be like, this guy should be open on this concept. Yes, that could be true. But that's not always that's not the case because it depends on what coverage the defense is implementing, and that could just be that's not in your control as an offensive coordinator. So when you make a play call, you're expecting your quarterback to get it to the best guy running the best route to be able to beat whatever defense you see here. So once you see the motion, of course, you identify zone. You see Tip Ryman block, release, check and release, going over the middle. Kyler Murray's hitting the top of his route. I mean, the top of his top of his drop, and he's just surveying the field. You have two people. Obviously, you have two receivers open, but if you can just take a second, Marvin Harrison Jr. turns around and looks for the ball. Now, it's going to be a hard throw to make simply because of the fact that you do have a linebacker here that is in that hook curl zone area, and that's what happened to Kyler Murray versus the Seahawks. He threw it in the hook curl zone area, and that defender, picked the ball off and whatnot. So am I going to give him too much crap for this one? No, because afterwards I did see that was something, but you do see another person. You see Gonzalez at the bottom with Higgins. By the time he releases the ball, that's when you're supposed to be able to make your judgment, because at that point, defenders will drop off of their assignments. But if this was ran, if he was turned into the outside, I think that would be a favorable route. But I believe he can still complete this. He still has a small window to be able to complete this. But to say he just he targets a person just because it's designed for that is a lie. And don't believe that. Plays aren't designed, hey, this one's going to this certain individual, and he doesn't target Marvin Harrison Jr. because he's not told to. That's a lie. In this instance, he does get the matchup that he wants. Just dumps it off. So, they moved them away from Gonzalez because of the fact that Gonzalez is such a good cornerback They moved him across the formation. Now he has a more favorable matchup when he's lined up. And this is obviously zone because, of course, Gonzalez didn't travel. You get your second motion. This is play action. I mean, this one right here is prime for like Trey McBride. I would say that he missed that one on Trey McBride. It seemed to me like he was more so trying to just get rid of the ball. Yeah, he doesn't even give it a chance. This is where you have to look at the end zone angle, but he doesn't really give he doesn't give it a chance to be able to develop here. Trey McBride is coming open towards the boundary. You see Marvin Harrison Jr. He's mostly running like a clear out route, so that's one thing that you can't say is that Marvin is used for more clear out sometimes in some instances to be able to get somebody else open. So that is true, but it doesn't mean you can't target him. He could be an alert route, and when you have an alert where it's like you like your matchup and stuff, you can deviate from what the concept is telling you to do and then hit your guy. And in this instance, I'm seeing him shoot up the field and then turn to the outside. This could be a completion if he throws it towards this side of the field. If he throws it to where his guy could track the ball and catch it, and he's the only one that could do it, that could be a completion. That's a deep throw that he can definitely make, but this is definitely wide open. Trey McBride is 100% open on this one. So let's go ahead and look at the end zone angle to be able to see. You got to see the end zone angle on this because you want to see if they got rushed. Like, what was he seeing? Did he see something did he see somebody like threatening to to take him down for a sack? What happened? God damn it. Sorry about that. There we go. Oh, we're looking at the opposite side angle. Okay. So you see Marv, he's motioning. You're gonna see Tip Ryman motion in a second. Fake the handoff. No, this he definitely had the time. And this is where you talk about like movement with the quarterback, where he kind of creates his own little space to help his tackle and whatnot. Because if you get in a position where like the defender has to fight through his tackle, that's how you can buy yourself some space. That's how you drift or like you float in the pocket. But he just really doesn't give it much of a chance. He just drops back to the deep. He gets to the depth of his drop, and then he just looks off and then gets rid of it. Now that's where you have to question: is this his vision that's just messing with him? Where's he looking to? He's looking. It looks like he's looking towards like Trey McBride at just early, and just decides to dump it off. Now there's another thing that was said that he's coached to take the dump off. That is not true. Quarterbacks aren't coached to take the dump offs. They're coached to take the dump offs if they don't like anything downfield. Can you certifiably say from this film, did he give it a chance or did he just truly not like what he saw? Because these routes weren't even developed. He had time. There was no issue when it comes to like time in the pocket. But he gives it 1 second and then dumps it off. He can float to his left. He can buy himself more time and float to his left and hit Trey McBride on the far side. I've seen him make that throw. He has the arm to be able to do that, and Trey McBride had some space. Marv, I don't know about that one. Maybe he has the ability to be able to target that, but that's not something that I would hate that he passes up on. But Trey McBride was definitely open on that one. Meat on the bone is one thing that I would say when you look at Kyler Murray's film is you'll see that a lot of plays are left out there, or a lot of yards are left out there. Let's go ahead and look at the next play. And obviously we're not going to delve too much into it because we're running short on time. There goes my internet crapping out on me. Well, decides to give out on me. Of course it does. Just exit out of this. I'll be able to find it again. That way, for anybody who hasn't joined us yet or whatnot, uh, obviously this is a good way to be able to like streamline what you see or what you want to see with a certain player because you're not out there watching. You're not out there watching 2 hours of film without like being able to key on somebody. So we're just gonna go through the process again. All right, so we're at play number 5. This is a 29 play, so I'm not gonna delve too much on it. I do want to get to the touchdown passes, to the touchdown attempts, because there were some of these. Obviously, there were some plays that like people wished Marvin would have came down with, which was like that Gonzalez, that good pass defense by Gonzalez in the end zone. But for now, we're just trying to see what's going on with some of these offensive concepts and whatnot. So he's lined up to the outside. He's going up against Gonzalez. He's running this mesh. And it's kind of weird because this isn't like, I guess you can say this true mesh. Now there's some that like talk about some creativity. He's got double mesh running. He got double mesh on this concept essentially. So you have a trips look at the bottom. You have no, this is not double mesh, but you have 2 wide receivers running crossers. Do I think maybe they got confused? Who knows? I'm not in there. You have Trey McBride coming open on the pick. Of course, you had Marvin Harrison Jr. So he's the lone guy running the crosser with Gonzalez there. And I mean, that's going to be hard for him to like, he's got space. He's got space between him and Gonzalez. The problem is that, you do have the linebacker there, but I don't know if is he looking for the ball. He is looking for the ball. Can he get it to him? I don't know. I don't think that's a really good pass for him to get to. But, once again, you got Trey McBride that comes wide open on this one. And he's got space ahead of him. He has number 5 that can make a play on him. But he gets the first down with this one now. He gives it to James Conner. He makes the play. He gets the first down. Not the worst decision. But for people who were, once again, saying that, like, he takes the dump offs, that was a good play. But he's not coached to take the dump offs. So did he take the dump off there? Yes, he did. Get the first down? Yes, he did. Fake the handoff. Move the launch point. Get to Marvin. That's not bad. I mean, Marv's like wide open in the flat anyway, so there's nobody defending him. They're trying to come down on him. He's like about a yard away from getting the first down. Like I said, good decision on that. The coverage kind of sank. You have Zay Jones that could possibly come open if he throws it with anticipation to the outside, but once again, not really hating too much of what's going on downfield. Actually, that's not Zay Jones. That's Michael Wilson. I'm sorry. So, I mean, that once again, can you make that play to Michael Wilson? If you throw with anticipation, because he's running the deep route, he is the number 2 on this concept. Marv just runs quick up, goes to the boundary, just waits. And then you have kind of like a sail route by number 87 or number 8. I think it's either Tip or it's Trey McBride that's running that sail. No, he's running the sail from the opposite side of the field. I'm sorry about that. But he's running that sail route. He's not, I wouldn't say he's open on that, obviously. But, you could make once again, throw him open. When you can throw him open, it means you target him where he can get under it and only he can come. Is he going to drive on it? Yes, he's going to drive on it. But he's about 5 or 6 yards off. He's just trying to defend top down and not trying to give anything deep. But that's yardage that could be had. But either way, it doesn't, he did what he did. He moved the launch point, got it to Marvin Harrison Jr., and he almost comes down with the first down. That was on a 1st and 10. So that's not the worst decision in the world. That's a good decision. This is why his QBR is so high, by the way. Because he makes decisions where he's not turning the ball over and he's just like trying to get it to a defender by making a completion, and then that guy does turns and tries to get a yak situation. He's just like, let's see. I'm not going to go off on the quarterback just yet. I need to see what's going on downfield. Because sometimes you just got to throw the ball away. In that circumstance, if you don't like what you see downfield, throw the ball away. Once again, you got this weird mesh situation. You have the same play that you essentially had, I think, 2 plays ago, where you have like 2 runners running shallow picks for 1 receiver on the opposite side, which is Marvin Harrison. He does have a step on him. As you can see, he does kind of have a step on him. You lead your guy on that throw. You have to throw it where you can like lead him, but also you have number 6 down in the field. Now, he's being chased around. Of course, he's not going to be able to like make that play because he has to try to avoid getting the sack. Let's see what happens in this circumstance. Now, he makes the move. Number 6 just beats his, like, he just beats his guy downfield. So, once again, there is plays to be made downfield, deep. He's just not really seeing the field very well. He turns. He's already losing the battle right there in the pocket. The pocket's holding up. It's fine. The pocket is not. He gets jittery. Maybe this is part of the reason why he's not playing so well, is because he's getting so jittery in these situations. He turns, hits the back of his foot again, like he resets, like he's going to throw the ball. Like James Conner already gave up on this. As you can see, his look at his body language right there. He has completions. Yes, he does. Marv is just probably like he's just doing his thing back there. He's not going to. Once again, Marv, I know you're upset, but you also need to hustle. You still need to try to get open. The play is not dead yet. You have to present yourself to your quarterback. You need to come back to the ball, or you need to try to get yourself open and put the mailbox up. Put your arm up. Try to get his attention, because the play is not dead until the whistle is blown. So this is an indictment on Marvin Harrison Jr. for just like giving up on it. Sure, he tries to make a move, but he doesn't really try too hard. He's just like, he makes a quick move. He's like, oh, well, whatever. He doesn't see me. And yeah, you can be frustrated about that. You can. You have a step on your guy off the pick. Not the biggest step, but your quarterback can throw it where you can get it. And of course, you have number 6 at the bottom of the screen. Beat this guy off the line of scrimmage. That's a deep throw that could be had for like 30 to 40 yards, maybe even a touchdown. Because you're facing single high here. This guy has to man both sides of the field, and I don't think this guy's quick enough to be able to like cut that off. But earlier in the down, you did have that. You had that at the bottom of your screen. Look at that. He just beats his guy. He looks like he's about to cork it. He brings the ball back. He's about to do so. I think even Marvin was expecting it, but like I said, down at the very bottom, you got James Conner putting the mailbox up. He got his guy beat. Let's look at the end zone angle. Hopefully it doesn't crap out on me again. Motion going empty. See the linebacker follow him. Man coverage tell. Signaling to his guys. That could be that could be him changing the play, of course. Could be audibling it because he thinks he can attack somewhere. So now he's running the crosser right there. Look at that. That's why I mentioned earlier, he's got some space if he throws it and it leads him into it. He tries to uncork that ball, but you have your nose tackle throwing his hand up, trying to. They're trained now to see Kyler Murray hit the ball, pat the ball, and then he releases. So they're looking for him to do that. So if you look at Kyler Murray's mechanics, he pats the ball and then he releases the ball. So I think defensive linemen and defensive players are trained now to know to look at that and then throw your hands up whenever you see him do that, because that essentially is giving the notification that he's about to throw the ball. Of course, he doesn't. He comes back down with it. He's looking, turns around, resets. At this point, it's like I said, number 6 is too hard to get the ball downfield to, and I'm not sure if he even sees it. Marv's already given up on the play, so he's just looking. He's pretty much just looking, and then he just throws it away. So that issue that I had said earlier, he did end up throwing it away anyway. So I mean, I guess he lived to play another down. But a question that I have about that is, did he just not want to run in that circumstance? It's a good question to ask, because Kyler Murray is so adept at being able to run and get the first down in those situations. So basically like salvage a play. So I'm gonna look at the sideline view again to see if there was a possibility where he just could or couldn't run. Jesus. Yeah, I screwed that one up. Sorry, guys. I tried forwarding it too much. Yeah, sorry about the quality of this one. I try to forward it because I'm not trying to play the play out again. You guys have already seen this. You guys have already seen it a few times already. You guys don't need to see it again, but I'm sorry, you guys are gonna have to. Drops, turns, resets, doesn't see anybody. No, he couldn't escape. So that's something that is a positive, I guess, for Kyler Murray getting rid of it. But the vision is, like I've mentioned so many times before, that's been his issue. You have one of the deep passes right here, they're incomplete. So this should be an end zone. This should be him trying to get it to Marv. Not sure if this is not a touchdown. This is not the one that he's trying to score a touchdown on, but this is an incompletion to Marvin Harrison Jr. So let's see, who are we gonna blame on this one, or what happened here? He releases to the outside. That's just great coverage. That's great coverage. That's he's trying to stack on his corner. So he's trying to basically throw him out of phase to get over him. So he pushes off with his left, tries to shoot upfield, but Gonzalez ain't feeling any of that, because he's got his left hand on Marvin to try to feel the route, which is why he's able to stay up with him. And then he turns when he sees Marvin turn his head essentially over there. Now, that's rough. However, Russell Wilson does this with George Pickens all the time. If you're looking at your wide receiver and he's struggling to stack on the corner, you throw it back shoulder. You let him come back to the ball and only let him be able to make the play. We've seen this time and time again with George Pickens and Kyler Murray. I don't know what's going on with those. He should have the ability to throw these moon balls to give his wide receiver a chance to come back to it. I'm not sure what's going on here. Not sure if he's just not reading it well, or he doesn't think that he can make the play, but that's what I would do in that circumstance. I'd throw it to the high heavens and give him a chance to adjust to that and come down with it. Those are the type of balls that they need to practice immensely and not question why haven't we seen any of those plays? Why haven't we seen that? He's essentially throwing it like it's on a rope. Those are the type of throws that you throw to your wide receiver if he's got him beat, if he's got him stacked. But because you're trying to lead your guy, you're not. In this instance, he's not given more of an arc on this, and he has seen him there. Maybe he thought if he's even, he's leaving. He definitely was even, but he wasn't leaving, and it really doesn't even matter because, they were hand fighting there, so it's hard. And as a matter of fact, he's not even on this. He's got a couple inches being beat by Gonzalez. So on that one, it's just great defense by Gonzalez. He's such a stud. So on that one, I'm not that's just great coverage. Let's go ahead and go short ride. James Conner, nope. Let's go ahead and just fast forward because I know we're running out of time here and whatnot. Let's look to see if we could find the other one, the one that I wanted to show, which was the touchdown that was or the touch, the you know him trying to get it to Marvin Harrison Jr. for a touchdown, and Gonzalez making a great play. Yeah, that's great defense. Once again, it's hard for him to be able to win that route. He makes it at the move on the line of scrimmage. Gonzalez jams and is able to stay on top of that. Once again, back shoulder. What's going on with you guys not practicing these back shoulder throws? You go like this is the first thing I would do. Watching this film between Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. and Drew Petzing, the first thing I would do is practice back shoulder. Go out there and throw 100 balls back shoulder. Why? Because it's obvious that he's not going to stack on these corners. Most corners, especially not Gonzalez. He's not winning that. He's turning to see where the ball is at, and obviously it's behind Gonzalez. Can he make that catch? If he's ultra talented, sure. Makes a ESPN type of top 10 catch, but you don't want to do that. You don't want to have your receiver be in a situation like that. There's no way that's a completion. He sees number 0. He's looking at it. He's thinking he's going to stack on him right there because he's not even. Once again, he's losing that, and number 0 is presenting his number. He can't see where the ball's at. He cannot see where the ball's going. Throw it towards the sideline. You guys have to practice this. Marv and Kyler, get out there and start practicing these back shoulders. You did it with DeAndre Hopkins. Why are you not able to do that with Marv? You guys should be literally asleep, like practicing this so much that you could do it in your sleep. Instead, he throws it past, like if he's leading his wide receiver. Throw it back shoulder or moonball that. Do either one. It's a better passing attempt than trying to lead your guy that's literally being completely blanketed to the point where you see 0. That's what you see. You see blue and a white 0, and your guy is somewhere behind him, and you're thinking he's gonna somehow beat this guy or fight through that contact when his momentum's taking him up the field. No, they need a back shoulder like this. The fact that they're not practicing these back shoulders just really kind of really tells you that maybe the chemistry between him and Kyler Murray is just not there. Because I don't understand. I don't understand. And this isn't Drew Petzing can tell him, but this is a wide receiver and a quarterback thing. They have to want it. They have to want to practice it. It shouldn't be like, hey, it takes your offensive coordinator to put you guys out there and do that, or your head coach. Yes, you can, but it also takes you guys, players, There we go. All right. My apologies to everybody. I had to end the stream. I'm sure everybody already logged out, but my internet gave out. This was awesome to be able to do this, and I hope we can continue doing this as a community. Of course, I'll try to bring everything as truthful and honest by bringing up, the film and whatnot. And thank you guys for joining me. Sorry that the stream had to end so abrupt, and it had to end, sorry about that. But I hope you guys have a great day. I really enjoyed the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed the content I gave you guys, and hopefully we can continue doing this as a community. Go Cardinals.